The Caring Coaching Center is a proud sponsor of DTM Wicked Radio Network. What would it mean to you to have better health, more energy, more vitality, and an all-around better life? At the Caring Coaching Center, our mission is to be your partner in helping you reach your health, fitness, and lifestyle goals. We do this through a dynamic 6-month program that helps our clients reach their goals and their full potential. And it all starts with a free, no obligation, 50-minute...
Rolling Hills Asylum. Located in East Bethany, New York, just minutes between two major airports, Rolling Hills Asylum is a hotbed of paranormal activity. They have been featured on Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures, Paranormal Challenge, as well as Sci-Fi Channel's Ghost Hunters. Rolling Hills Asylum has been named the #2 most haunted location in the United States by HauntedNorthAmerica.com. The property was established on January 1st, 1827, as the county poor farm. Throughout the years, it has operated as a poor farm, infirmary, orphanage, tuberculosis hospital, nursing home, and more. Past residents and inmates consist of widows, orphans, physically disabled, mentally unstable, murderers, and more. Over 1,700 bodies are buried in unmarked graves, and hundreds more deaths went undocumented. Rolling Hills Asylum is known for a plethora of phenomena, including disembodied voices, doors slamming, footsteps, sounds of furniture moving, full-body apparitions, shadow people, ghostly touches, and numerous Class A EVP. Rolling Hills Asylum proudly offers historical and flashlight tours, 4- and 8-hour public ghost hunts, 8- and 9-hour private ghost hunts, and more, by appointment or pre-booking only. For more information, please visit www.rollinghillsasylum.com. That's www.rollinghillsasylum.com. Or give them a call, 585-502-4066. That's 585-502-4066. Rolling Hills Asylum. What are you doing this weekend?
Hello? Hello? Who's there? Whoa! What the? There's a ghost on the stairs. spooks. I do believe in spooks.
The Caring Coaching Center is a proud sponsor of DTM Wicked Radio Network. What would it mean to you to have better health, more energy, more vitality, and an all-around better life? At the Caring Coaching Center, our mission is to be your partner in helping you reach your health, fitness, and lifestyle goals. We do this through a dynamic 6-month program that helps our clients reach their goals and their full potential. And it all starts with a free, no obligation, 50-minute health history consultation. Just visit us at the www.thecaringcoachingcenter.com to schedule your free consultation today. Or you can go to www.dtmwickedradio.com, click the sponsor page, scroll down to the Caring Coaching Center tab, click on the tab and open up to the website to start your free consultation today. It's all here on dtmwickedradio.com.
Rolling Hills Asylum. Located in East Bethany, New York, just minutes between two major airports, Rolling Hills Asylum is a hotbed of paranormal activity. They have been featured on Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures, Paranormal Challenge, as well as Sci-Fi Channel's Ghost Hunters. Rolling Hills Asylum has been named the #2 most haunted location in the United States by HauntedNorthAmerica.com. The property was established on January 1st, 1827, as the county poor farm. Throughout the years, it has operated as a poor farm, infirmary, orphanage, tuberculosis hospital, nursing home, and more. Past residents and inmates consist of widows, orphans, physically disabled, mentally unstable, murderers, and more. Over 1,700 bodies are buried in unmarked graves, and hundreds more deaths went undocumented. Rolling Hills Asylum is known for a plethora of phenomena, including disembodied voices, doors slamming, footsteps, sounds of furniture moving, full-body apparitions, shadow people, ghostly touches, and numerous Class A EVP. Rolling Hills Asylum proudly offers historical and flashlight tours, 4- and 8-hour public ghost hunts, 8- and 9-hour private ghost hunts, and more, by appointment or pre-booking only. For more information, please visit www.rollinghillsasylum.com. That's www.rollinghillsasylum.com. Or give them a call, 585-502-4066. That's 585-502-4066. Rolling Hills Asylum. What are you doing this weekend?
The historical Fort William Henry Conference Center and Resort is a proud sponsor of DTM Wicked Radio. If you're looking for a relaxing getaway, the historical Fort William Henry Resort and Conference Center is your destination. Come enjoy the beautiful mountains, the gorgeous lake, and everything Lake George has to offer in upstate New York, right off the Adirondack Mountains. For reservations, you can go to www.fortwilliamhenry.com or call 1-800-234-0267. The Fort William Henry Resort and Conference Center is your destination for the perfect getaway.
Hello? Hello? Who's that? Whoa! Water! There's a ghost on the stairs. do believe in spooks. I do believe in spooks.
Rolling Hills Asylum. Located in East Bethany, New York, just minutes between two major airports, Rolling Hills Asylum is a hotbed of paranormal activity. They have been featured on Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures, Paranormal Challenge, as well as Sci-Fi Channel's Ghost Hunters. Rolling Hills Asylum has been named the #2 most haunted location in the United States by HauntedNorthAmerica.com. The property was established on January 1st, 1827, as the county poor farm. Throughout the years, it has operated as a poor farm, infirmary, orphanage, tuberculosis hospital, nursing home, and more. Past residents and inmates consist of widows, orphans, physically disabled, mentally unstable, murderers, and more. Over 1,700 bodies are buried in unmarked graves, and hundreds more deaths went undocumented. Rolling Hills Asylum is known for a plethora of phenomena, including disembodied voices, doors slamming, footsteps, sounds of furniture moving, full-body apparitions, shadow people, ghostly touches, and numerous Class A EVP. Rolling Hills Asylum proudly offers historical and flashlight tours, 4- and 8-hour public ghost hunts, 8- and 9-hour private ghost hunts, and more, by appointment or pre-booking only. For more information, please visit www.rollinghillsasylum.com. That's www.rollinghillsasylum.com. Or give them a call, 585-502-4066. That's 585-502-4066. Rolling Hills Asylum. What are you doing this weekend?
The historical Fort William Henry Conference Center and Resort is a proud sponsor of DTM Wicked Radio. If you're looking for a relaxing getaway, the historical Fort William Henry Resort and Conference Center is your destination. Come enjoy the beautiful mountains, the gorgeous lake, and everything Lake George has to offer in upstate New York, right off the Adirondack Mountains. For reservations, you can go to www.fortwilliamhenry.com or call 1-800-234-0267. The Fort William Henry Resort and Conference Center is your destination for the perfect getaway. The Caring Coaching Center is a proud sponsor of DTM Wicked Radio Network. What would it mean to you to have better health, more energy, more vitality, and an all-around better life? At the Caring Coaching Center, our mission is to be your partner in helping you reach your health, fitness, and lifestyle goals. We do this through a dynamic 6-month program that helps our clients reach their goals and their full potential. And it all starts with a free, no-obligation, 50-minute health history consultation. Just visit us at the www.thecaringcoachingcenter.com to schedule your free consultation today. Or you can go to www.dtmwickedradio.com, click the sponsor page, scroll down to the Caring Coaching Center tab, click on the tab and open up to the website to start your free consultation today. It's all here on dtmwickedradio.com.
You ready?
You're live.
All right.
Okay, I'm ready.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Blog Talk Radio, the Beyond Paranormal. This is Ben and my lovely wife, Cheryl.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to DTM Wicked Radio, Beyond Paranormal. Tonight we have a great guest for you who has been waiting for us. We've had some power issues here at our house, and we've been telling the electric company for a couple weeks that we were going to lose the power lines, and finally they came right off the house. So we just managed to get them back up a few minutes ago. I was pretty devastated and in a panic, but we have a great guest that has been so gracious and waiting for you all. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave DeLeese.
Hey, good evening,
Hi, Dave,
everybody.
how are
Hi,
you?
Ben. Good. Hi, Cheryl. How's everything?
Great.
Good now. I guess
Yeah, you got everything up and running, huh?
Oh, it's always a challenge. I get to play like yell at me for playing with lines that I shouldn't be.
You sound like me in the cemetery. I'm playing with things I shouldn't. Did I lose you guys?
And we are having technical issues. Want to go to a commercial? We'll be right back. And this is
Hey, it happens. What are you going to do?
Hi. I'm
Hey.
back. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to have technical difficulties all night with this crap. So how are you doing? I haven't spoke to you since Paracon, actually, I believe.
Fair History Con.
That's
Yep.
true. It's been a long time. I know.
I've been too
Things
long.
are good, actually. Things are good. I actually just had a nice little paranormal trip. I started at Gettysburg, ended up in Florida, came back, went to Washington. Then I had to stop off at a special grave site for a documentary that I'm doing in a church called St. Andrew's in Staten Island. I went to go visit the grave of St. Elizabeth Seton, who I speak to all the time in the church. I have EVPs all over talking with her.
Wow. Well, remember those Spreaker flyer miles? You can pass them my way. I could use a few.
Dude, I was driving. Are you kidding me? I got back here exactly 7:45 for the show. I was like, I'm going to make it, you know. And then I had to run in the church.
No, all that's because we do a lot of driving ourselves for it.
Right.
I don't know what it is. Like just flying and the equipment and the nightmares of trying to go through security and all that stuff. And they go,
Yeah.
what is that for? Well.
That's...
yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
It's better than the excuse of trying to come up with the reality of it. It's better to come up with a lie sometimes.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But you know what it is? I don't fly that much anymore because I worked in the film industry for years, the music and film industry. So I traveled a lot with different bands on different movie sets. So you know what? I really don't fly that much. I do, we'll drive, with the family. I'll drive with the family, which we did. And, we all went to Disney afterwards, which was pretty cool for a couple of days. And then I went back to doing investigating, and it was just great. I'm having such a ball on the road trip.
Where's my invite for the Disney? That would have been great. I'm sure there's got to be a lot.
You know what? I really wish you could have came because we would have went investigating. What, are you kidding me? There's
my brother's only, you
down
should have told me, my brother's only like an hour out from there.
Not even.
He's like 30 minutes away from, I think he's in Lakeland.
Wow. That's funny because
yeah.
I was talking to George Lopez, and he was like, dude, I live in St. Augustine, and I was in the car literally just passing the exit, and I turned around, I was like, oh, man, I could have stopped and hung out with George for a while, But unfortunately, I had to get back down here and, start working on my documentary, and I had to do the whole Elizabeth Seton thing, which I wanted to do because she spoke to me, you know what I mean? So out of respect, I wanted to drop a rose on her grave for her 240th birthday.
Wow, 240 years. And still kicking.
Yep. And you know what? She talks up a storm. I'm telling you, you got to hear when she talks to me. I can send you some EVPs. You'd be like, oh, my God. I mean, it's like full-length conversation.
It's amazing.
Can you see me? How you doing? How's everything? I'm like, I'm great. Now that you're here talking to me, because I.
So now you're documenting all this for your new documentary, or is this different?
Oh, please! I have tons of stuff, even on my Facebook page. I mean, I'm very big into orbs, where a lot of people discredit them, but I think I might have a little scientific evidence that's going to prove that they are spirits, and I'm going to be writing a book on that as well. So, you know, I mean, the orbs that I catch, I mean, a lot of the spirits who are in the orbs, when they show faces and start to manifest a little bit for me, they talk to me because I'm a medium. So I can talk to them, and they'll show themselves to me, you know, just like in Gettysburg. The other night I'm standing there, and it was a soldier like 2 inches away from me and just looked at me and whispered in my ear and said, "Can I have one?" I just lit up a cigarette, and he goes, "Can I have one?" So I was like, wow. And I got that on a recorder. It was interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, we've had a lot. We've done a lot with orbs. I mean, I understand how people discredit them. There's a lot of people that don't understand the fact between dust and interference and what an actual orb is. Right. And, I mean, even bugs can be a pain in the butt for going between. And it's very hard to distinguish between the two. But,
well, you know what it is? I have a good eye with that now, Ben, because I'm so used to seeing them because they literally show themselves. And this year what I did was we had 5 huge major snowstorms here. And I was out in every one of those storms, and I took pictures every single night. What I do is I'm trying to do the weather patterns from, you know, summer to winter and see the difference of how they come out, when they come out. I mean, I've captured over 75 different colored orbs thus far. Wow. Now, I'm no idiot. I know what dust is, and I know what moisture is, and I know what bugs are. If I got something staring me in the puss, 90 different colors, it looks like a spider, I'm like, that is definitely not a piece of dust.
No,
I'm sorry.
I definitely agree with you there. It's just that there's so many people. The reason that orbs are such a controversial point is because of the fact of the people who don't know how to distinguish between what is and what isn't.
Right.
What would you say were the best characteristics of actually capturing an orb that would be something notable?
Well, like I said, when I'm in this cemetery in St. Andrews, I catch, I would say 90% of the time, true orbs. I don't, you know, I always know that there are dust and stuff popping up in the wind and bugs. But when I see an orb, like when I go home and I put it on the computer and I'm looking at the photo and I see a face in it or different colors, or if I blow it up and it looks like a planet, you know, it would be pretty hard for me to understand you telling me that's a dust particle. You know, and I respect everybody's opinion, you understand? And this is why I'm who I am, because what you see is what you get. Whatever I put up on Facebook or on YouTube, I don't cut anything out. It's just the way it is. It's raw. So if you see it and you hear it yourself... That's the way it should be,
because, I mean, real evidence is only going to be in that form. An edited version is not credible.
Exactly. Like I'm talking to you in the cemetery right now at St. Andrews. So, I mean, it's just, to me, it's like, it's an amazing place to be. And, you know, I know there's going to be a ton of stuff going on once I get inside, because I went to go visit Elizabeth Seton. And I just have this feeling that she may show herself tonight to me, which would be great, because I only do this to show the people that it's true and it's real, you know. So I try to help everybody out, and, you know, I'm a friendly guy with everybody. I don't argue. I don't like drama, aggravation, and all of that nonsense. So, I mean, I believe what I believe, and I don't believe what I don't believe. That's how I am.
Yep. Now, going back just a little bit, can you tell all of us what happened as a child, how it is that you came into your gifts?
Absolutely. When I was a little boy, we came from Italy over to this country, and my grandparents bought a house in Richmond Hill, Queens. It was an old style, I would say like maybe a slave house at that time. Still had the water well in the backyard. It was, you know, about 25 rooms in the whole house. One day I'm standing by my grandmother, and I happened to see a shadow run by me. And I said to my grandmother, I said, Nonna, there's a little boy over there. I saw a little boy. And she just said to me, oh, it's okay, you go play. You know, you're 5 years old. What am I supposed to say? You're a nutcase? You know, so I'm looking for this kid throughout the house, and I finally see him. And the funny thing was, he, was standing right in front of me with, like, these black shorts, a white ruffled shirt, like these socks that went past his knees. and black shoes. And then all of a sudden he showed me how he passed away. He fell down the attic steps. So, years later, of course, I looked into the history of the house. He actually died of scarlet fever, some type of fever, and fell down those steps and was in the house. So through the years, I actually seen. What was that? You broke up a little bit.
Oh, no, we just echoed for a second.
Okay.
I love
that
it
was
when you
pretty
can.
much. Huh?
I love it when you can check the history on something and actually validate the answers that you get.
Right, and you have to realize I was a kid then, so I really didn't understand too much about the paranormal because, I was still playing baseball back in those days. I wasn't interested in anything like that. But the funny thing was, years later after she passed away, I asked my grandfather, I was like, did she have a special gift? And sure enough, she was a clairvoyant. So that must run in my family. And only in the last 3 years, I have gathered this gift. And I have a few mentors that are teaching me how to understand the gift because the first time it happened to me, I was in this cemetery, actually, and I heard like 300 voices at once. And it kind of like bugged me out for a second because I didn't understand it. And then I just said, all right, guys, everybody, one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. And then it started coming in very clearly. Help, help, help. Anytime I do an EVP session, it's like, Dave, Dave. You hear 1,000 Daves throughout that whole hour session that I do. So people are looking for help, and now that I understand the gifts that I have, I'm allowed to help the higher up send them to the light, which I do. And I do close portholes in the cemetery, and I've dealt with some pretty crazy things here, which other people and listeners would probably call me a nut job, but I've dealt with vampires, werewolves, aliens from different dimensions in this cemetery. So, when you close the porthole, you got to make sure it's closed because once it opens up again, you're going to have the same problem.
Now, when you say werewolves and vampires, what do you mean by that?
Well, they really existed at one point in life. There's movies. I know you have a lot of movies about it, but they truly exist. They're in different dimensions right now. I mean, we're not just in one dimension. From what I know so far of having this gift, I've already encountered 7 different dimensions. So,
wow.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard for you to understand if you're not a medium, but mediums who know about this type of thing, they'll say, okay, cool, I understand what he's talking about. But it's true. I've dealt with a lot of different things so far in such a short time of having the gift, and sometimes it's scary. I won't lie. Sometimes I'm like, the hairs are on my neck standing up. And then other times it just comes so natural. It's like I'll walk by and just shut the porthole and just keep walking. That kind of situation.
I can understand it. And, from what I look at it, I mean, I'm kind of jealous in a way because I don't get the immediate response. I get like a post-tense, or sometimes, depending on the spirit. And right. For you to be able to actually go, I mean, Cheryl's like that. She sees things up front. I see things tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll be sitting in bed and I'll have a dream about things that are going on. I never have it at the point in time of things going on. I get it in bits and pieces from here to there. And she's the opposite. Gets things at the point in time. So I get jealous to a point on that. I get bits of things that don't exist in my life, but come back to, and then I fit all the pieces together and go, oh, that was that investigation we were on, and this has to do with this, and then we'll go back and we'll prove it, and then it gives us something to go on. And Cheryl is I see shadows, I see someone moving kind of person, so it's kind of weird. So I've never seen a shadow in my life. I've never seen, I can't say I haven't seen an entity, but I haven't seen a shadow or a movement of during an investigation. But you can sense when things
you will.
There.
He's very good at sensing when things are there. He can walk in and tell you, it's here, the energy's highest here, and he's been able to communicate with them on a level where, like, we can't get to. So
that's awesome.
Let him fool you, because he knows things before the rest of us all do.
I know something.
That's awesome, though. That's a great gift. And, you know, Ben, as you use your gifts more and more, from what I've learned thus far, it's pretty exciting, because you're going to start seeing them soon, and you're going to be on a higher level each time you see another one, and you'll see a shadow. And then, you know, a lot of people, you know, they're always looking for that thing. The one thing I've learned in this industry is you always see what you're not looking for. You know, and that's how you look for things. You don't look for it because eventually it's going to pop out at you.
Just the things that pop out at me aren't necessarily what you want to pop out.
Well, I've been in that situation too. You know, I actually just finished a demonology course because a friend of mine, you know, was getting beat up.
I'm actually looking at doing one as well.
Yeah, and you know, and to be honest with you,
I'm just looking for the knowledge. I'm not looking for the title. I'm actually working with. I'm just getting a book from John, who's going to help me get through that demonology course. I'm sure you're aware of which one.
Who, John Zaffis?
No.
Oh, I love John Zaffis.
Bishop Long.
Trip, let me tell you. Oh,
Bishop
okay.
Long.
Right.
Oh,
very cool. Oh, cool.
But that's beside
nice.
the point. I'm not looking at it for the status. I'm looking at it for the information. I think that if you make it an entire day and you haven't learned a thing, that you wasted your entire day. There's no point in existing.
Exactly. That's funny.
So,
and I took the course because I wanted to know about things. I'm not going to be in there with like a robe on, you know, doing an exorcism, because I'm totally trying to keep far away from that kind of stuff, you know. But this poor woman is having such a hard time, and I have a priest friend who's willing to help if necessary. But she sent me pictures the other day, and both of her sides were black and blue. And I said, of course you're going to ask the stupid questions like, did your husband do it? You know, did you have rough sex? Whatever. You know, people are crazy these days. They do all kinds of craziness. You know what I mean? But I had to ask these stupid questions, because when I tell you, I could show you the photos, man. It was unbelievably black and blue. So she was like, help, help. I said, I'll try my best to help you. And, you know, I went into this woman's home, which was an old funeral home at one time. You know, I got a hybrid child with black eyes in one shot. And then I had a demon in a mirror image with the hood on and red eyes. So I knew I was dealing with something very crazy in that house. And I have the pictures to prove it. You know, I mean, I actually think I posted them on Facebook to ask people's opinion on certain things, because, like, I love to share everything I find with everybody. I don't hide it in a safe for 10 years and say, oh, my God, I just discovered this. No. Here's the evidence. This is what I found. Can anybody help me? I don't know. And you know what? I don't care who's out there in the world. They're never going to be 100% in any investigation.
No. I agree.
So,
I mean, anything I post on Facebook, I've had, I don't want to say validated, but I share it with certain people, get their opinion on it before I'll post it on Facebook. Otherwise, if one person discredits it and gives me a good, valid reason, and I say that's valid, that's a good point, I didn't think of that, I don't post it.
Our past couple cases actually were pretty local, and they didn't want any footage or anything from their house.
And in the worst case scenario, we have
on Facebook, because they didn't want anybody to recognize their house and be like publicly known.
And then we have our worst cases, which we have our own documentation, which is locked away on the hard drive that I can't even access anymore. And anybody I've sent it to has crashed their computer, which is weird. But I sent it to two different people, and it crashed both computers. So, Danny, don't feel bad that your computer crashed, because the other person's computer crashed too. But anyways,
well, there's a reason why it crashed. You understand? Because somebody didn't want anybody to see that information. So, you know, that's pretty obvious. You know, so it had to be something there that didn't want anybody to see anything.
Oh, it was one of our biggest cases, and
I literally have a full body shown moving across the room, and then coming straight in front of the camera. At night, no light interference, no nothing. At night vision, showing up bright red, flashing in and out as it did, and I can't get to it. I had it on my computer, it's missing. I had it on my hard drive, I can't access it. It became password protected for some reason, and I cannot get into it.
you know what, just pray to St. Michael. You know what, ask him to help you open that thing up because you want to show everybody in the world what you have.
Oh, I'd love.
And he'll open it up.
As soon as I get it on my computer, it's going out on it because I've already had people say there's no possible way that could be. Infrared does not reflect back red, is what I've been told.
Right.
And
you know, the thing is, too, credibility. You know, you're an honest person. You're showing your evidence. A lot of people aren't going to second-guess you. You understand? Like myself. You know,
they may
I'll show something.
second-guess me, but that's okay. That's what I want it. That's what it's there for. I'd rather have it second-guessed than not guessed. Because not guessed means it was never considered, and to be second-guessed means that somebody actually looked at it twice to actually think about it and go, you know, that might not be the real thing.
Right.
So I'd rather be second-guessed. So please feel free to second-guess me all the way.
Right. Yeah, I don't mind.
Because that means at least you're... Yeah, exactly. As long as somebody's observing what you did and taking the time to look at it and say, hey, yes, or hey, no, at least then you know that they paid the time to look at it and actually say whether or not it's good or bad.
I agree with you there on that one for sure. You know, like I said, I don't. I put my stuff up. People can make the remarks that they want to make, and you know what, I accept it. And you know, whether you believe it, you don't believe it. And if I feel that it's truly what it is, and I'll ask people who are more and more experienced than me, with higher abilities than I have, and if they tell me, Dave, that's definitely it, I believe them because you know what, they can sense it more than I can. So I would trust their word on that. And I have two people that I do that with a lot. And, you know, if they tell me it's one thing, I'm going to believe them 100% because as far as I know, they've never been wrong with me or anybody else. So I'm happy with that. But other than that, I post my stuff. If people want to look at it, feel free, have fun, enjoy it because that's what I'm doing, enjoying what I do. You know, it's serious to me, but I love doing what I do.
Yep.
And
I
that's the
agree.
difference.
That's really the reason why we got into it. I mean, we didn't get into it because we wanted to. It kind of fell upon us, and then we found out that we could actually help people, not just he. When I say people, I don't mean just the people that are here. I mean on both sides. You're able to help people in general, and some people don't understand that and don't agree with it, but at the same token, you can help sides of the spectrum. I think that's a good word to use, is a spectrum. And
exactly.
But you're able to help on both sides, and by doing so, it's such a rewarding feeling. And whether or not people believe it or think it's real or do think it's real and think you do no help, I mean, most of the time, people that have, quote, demon problems are really just people, are just other people on the other side that can't get through, that are looking at, hey, I'm trying to talk to you, but you ain't listening.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
I'm throwing a tantrum because I'm trying to be heard and you're not hearing me. I'm doing the best I can to tell you that I have a message I need to have conveyed. And you're not bringing it out, and I need it known. Right. And that's their peace. And that once their peace is met, then they move on.
Exactly.
That's my feeling on the whole.
But I agree with you on that, too, because a lot of times for myself, a lot of people will come and ask me for help, you know, and I try to send them to the light, you know, whether they want to go back, you know, or not. You go back, you still can come back here. It's not like once you go, you have to stay. You do come back, and I've found... You know, and I found a lot of people have unfinished business. You got to understand, if you're a soldier walking across the field in Gettysburg and get shot in the head and don't even know it, you're still alive in your head. So you're going to keep wandering around and, you know, trying to understand why you're in this limbo, you know. So a person like myself who can send people to the light or maybe help heal somebody, you know, that's like a gift for me, and I'm so happy that I can help people. And even the spirits. I mean, a lot of times, I got to send you some EVPs so you can listen to what I hear, and you'll understand. It's like when I tell you, it's like they'll come to me literally and like sometimes tell me their problems or why they don't want to leave. So, you know, it's very frustrating at times, especially when you're sitting there and it's a spirit that you can't see and only hear. So, you get those, and then you get the ones you can see, and try to understand as well. But, it's a very difficult task. It's not something very easy because you're dealing with people, and I say people because they are people. A lot of people think, these are ghosts, they never lived before. They're just a ghost. But no, they're people like you and I who've died of illnesses, murders, whatever the case was, but they do roam. And that's the beautiful thing. And if they are comfortable enough with you to share that with you, they will. A lot of these paranormal people that go into these places, I haven't seen anything yet. Maybe you're just asking too much. Just let it happen. And that's what I do. I don't ask for it. I just let it happen.
Now, on that note, we have a question that came up on the chat. It says, basically, do you do anything special for protection? Or, what is your methods for yourself as far as keeping your own spirituality and your own sanity intact?
Yes, I do. I always have protection with me. I have certain crystals that I leave in my pocket, and I always say a prayer to Jesus and everybody else. But my main person that's with me all the time and who has actually showed herself to me is Mother Mary and St. Michael, because he's the archangel and he will help protect me in the cemetery or wherever I am. So that's pretty much what I do for protection. I know it sounds crazy, but it's not.
Just curious. What do you use for crystals? Just curious.
I use two crystals that were given to me from my mentor, Aldethina Shepherd, and Thomas Knight Templar. These are my mentors, and, they give me certain crystals that are blessed, and I have like a clear crystal, and then I have another crystal that's a little darker than clear, and one is for God, and then one is for protection as far as all my angels and my archangels. So that's what I carry with me, and that's the use that I get from the crystals. If you want to wear a medal, that's fine. A St. Michael medal or, St. Francis, Father Pino. There's so many different saints that will help you because they know what you're doing. You're trying to help them help others.
I think that's the most important point about it is realizing that regardless of what the material is the meaning behind it.
Exactly.
And if you have meaning behind it and it's known that that's what's behind it, and it sets your mind in a position of being able to do it. Now, people say that crystals enhance that ability, but it's a matter of putting your mind in the proper perspective. It's like, personally,
you have to believe.
You're right.
Ben, you have to believe in your God or your spirits, and if you believe in your heart is the biggest thing in the world. Remember, that's what keeps you alive. So, that is your precious point. And if you can believe or love somebody from your heart, always be true and pure.
Yeah. Which is funny, you mentioned two different crystals. As I usually like to carry two different crystals on me. I carry two specific with me at all times. I always carry a pair of clear quartz.
Mm-hmm.
And I also carry a Libyan desert glass, which would be a discolored one. And those are the two stones that I always carry with me for protection.
Right, and I do too. So, like I said, my mentors, they tell me, what to do sometimes with certain prayers and how to fill up my karma and, all that stuff, because remember, when we go into these places, what people don't realize is we get drained from the spirits, whether they're good or bad. And, it's a lot of work to get that back. It takes sometimes weeks to be fully energized. Especially like for myself as being a medium, it takes a lot out of me because they're using my energy, to talk to me. Because if you look at it, how they talk, it kind of reminds me of the Matrix, and it takes them that long to get the sentences out, and I've learned that through doing EVPs, and that's why I'm good at EVPs because, you can put it through a snowy channel, you can put it through like a radio channel where it's, it's skipping, but, you have to determine which is the radio and which is the actual spirit that's talking.
Yeah, so, I have a hard time with EVPs. I'm a marine engineer, and if if I have any static noise, like spirit box or anything like that, I won't hear them. I'll be honest. For me, listening through an EVP session, you might as well just chalk it up as nothing's going to be found.
Which is why I have to do it.
She's my EVP. I get stuck watching the video, which is even worse. That's just the worst thing ever. Is nobody realizes how much work goes into an investigation, and I really think that's really what people don't realize how much work involves doing one simple investigation. Take 4 hours, 4 hours of your time, just at the residence. You spend 12 hours beforehand trying to dig up all the information on the house, if you're lucky enough to get it in 12 hours, and then you spend, for every camera you set up, for every picture you take, to go over it with a microscope, trying to find what you're looking for.
That amount of time for each case.
I mean, you're talking 3-4 days worth of work for one case.
Exactly.
And people don't realize that.
Some photos take me 3 or 4 to a month, looking into photos, because you always find more when you should put the picture away and then put it back up again. And that's where I've learned to, like when I first started doing it, I would always post a photo thinking it was this, and that, and then somebody once told me, they're like, you really need to look over this. So then I started taking my time, and even though people knew I was out doing things and they were waiting to see what I was going to put up, I waited, and I said, all right, now it's ready to go up. And I always say this is what I believe it is. I never say, oh, this is a ghost and this is an orb. And I say I truly believe that this is, a spirit manifesting. And I got tons of photos of manifesting spirits, plasma. I even have a photo of a poltergeist in the rectory of the church where I'm working, because the woman who's in there told me that this thing literally opened up her window while she was in the shower. So I seen a green mist as I took a picture going up towards the second floor of the house. So I was like, wow, and this is all just from one place. I mean, if I ever showed you guys the evidence that I just have in this place alone, I could do 3 books. Trust me when I tell you, there's just so much going on in this place.
Wow.
And that's how I learned.
How much longer do you think you're going to spend there before you finish your documentary? I mean,
well,
have you been editing as you've gone?
Yes, I do. I edit as I go along. And now that I just did this thing with Elizabeth Seton, I'm pretty much cool with everything. I'm going to pretty much start packing it up in the church and rectory area, as you hear the church bell going off now. And I'm gonna do a special investigation in their home, which nobody has ever been into the home. And the only other team that's been in this church that had did anything was TAPS. And from what I seen on the video of the show, they didn't really get what they wanted. But, I mean, things happen. You don't always get what you want when you go into a place for 7 hours and then leave, Right. But I've been here for 18 months. And,
I think if 9 out of 10, that's not what you're going to get. I mean, what happens if somebody came into your house right now? I want people to realize. So let's just say I walk into your house randomly without you having knowledge that I'm coming.
Right.
Okay? I walk in. What's the first thing you're going to do? You're not looking to be up in front. You're not looking to be, hey, here I am.
Right.
You're going to either be aggressive or you're going to hide away.
Oh, yeah. When we first moved in, it took us a good month before any activity started happening.
Right.
It's not instantaneous. And then you get the other side of it is you get these events where people go to places all the time. Well, if somebody comes in, you're on the side of a zoo, eventually the animals ain't really curious about the people anymore. They just kind of want to, and I'm sorry to use the word animals, but they just kind of want to just get away, do their own thing.
Exactly.
I don't really care that you're there.
Right.
And that's the hard point is. That's okay, go ahead.
I'm with you on that. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. But, the thing is, I was very lucky. When I first came in this place, and I'm telling you, the first day, I went down, the priest who was here at the time, Father Michael Delaney, I love him to death. I really wish he didn't leave, but unfortunately he had to move on and do his thing. let me go into the catacombs where there are 18 British soldiers who were found, and they threw the bones back in when they were doing reconstruction, putting in an AC unit. But long story short, I'm walking down the corridor of the catacombs, and all the lights went out. Now, I had Jeannie De Niro with me on this investigation, and I turned to her, and I was like, did you shut the light out? No answer. I said, did you shut the light out? No answer. All of a sudden, I hear a voice say, no, I shut the light out.
Wow.
That was my first day here, and I got it on EVP. My first day in the place, and you know what? It has not stopped and only gotten crazier since. You know, because they trust me, they believe in me. When I'm out, if you were a person walking outside these grounds, you would call Bellevue Hospital to have me committed. Because I walk around, hi, everybody, how are you today? How's everything? I hope you had a nice day today. You know, thank you for allowing me in your cemetery to take photos. And I explain to them what I'm doing. I'm a paranormal investigator. You know, I'm trying to show proof to people who don't believe. And if you people can come out and help me, I said, that would be fantastic. I said, but if you don't, thank you for allowing me on your grounds. You know, and that's how I've gotten very lucky with the spirits of this place. And, I mean, you have some very famous people buried in here. Remember, this whole place was a hospital at one time for the Revolutionary War, which was in Richmond Town, Staten Island at the time. You know,
so you must be very big. You must be very big
Huh?
into the history of the Civil War.
Dude, I can't even explain to you the stuff that I found that most historians didn't even find. I mean, it was so weird. I was in the church one night, and I was asking questions, and somebody said president. And I was like, president? You know, I couldn't understand that. But when I got home, I put two and two together. Christopher Billop's house is on the other side of where I am. And that's where Ben Franklin and John Adams went to go visit to try to stop the war. But what nobody knows is they brought George Washington with him at the time and snuck him in, and he was here. There's only one historical person that actually found that out while I was looking it up online. Everybody else had no clue that George Washington was here at the time. But you see, this spirit told me about the president. I'm like, what president? Because he wasn't president then. You know, so obviously they knew he was here.
We have an interesting piece on our side, too, because we are connected to the Civil War here.
Awesome.
Well, I live on General Ward's daughter's property.
Wow, really?
Really.
That's intense.
You
must have some
General
good
Ward,
time.
if anybody doesn't know, is the actual first general of the United States of America.
Wow, very cool.
And his house is, of course, up the street. But this was his dowry for his daughter.
Our street is named after him.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I just thought I'd throw that out to you since you are big into the Civil War with the history that you've been working with.
Right.
So if you ever General Ward's name mentioned, I might have information for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, God only knows what they're going to tell me. You know, I mean, I really don't know sometimes. And, you know, all I can say is I'm just very grateful and very lucky that, you know, I've had this cooperation in here. And, I mean, it sounds stupid, you know, saying cooperation, but, you know, they were here for me, these spirits. They helped me get through a lot of things and protected me.
But it is a cooperation. I mean, you're having somebody who has been unable to speak for so long finally have and this is where people get the word wrong. Medium is really somebody in the middle.
Right.
You're in between both worlds.
Right.
And that's the case for anything. A psychology person. It's somebody in between.
Right.
And it gives you the ability to provide a area in which they can converse to you so that you may converse to others.
Right.
Which is really an amazing gift in being able to do. And
thank God every day.
Yeah. And it's amazing. I mean, I have the ability to a point. I haven't perfected it. I don't have formal teachings. I kind of learn by my own way.
Right.
And I probably will continue to learn in my own way. But I think that's what makes us strong and makes us unique because everybody has their own abilities.
Everybody has the gift. It's just a part of how it gets turned on. You know, so every person listening, definitely remember this. You have a gift. It's just when it turns on, you know. I mean, like I said, when I was a kid, I seen a little kid, and I seen plenty other things growing up in life. I mean, I've witnessed several UFOs in my time, have photos of them. I mean, I pretty much had a little mix and match of a lot of different things in life. And you know what? I'm very grateful for that. And, you know, I'm very humble. You know, it's just I'm so happy that I was able in life to see this stuff and to talk with people from another side. You know, and that's what it's all about, you know, being humble, because I don't care what anybody says. I mean, you can go out into a cemetery, into a house, a building, you know, and look for this and look for that. If they don't want to come out, they're not coming out, bottom line. You know, that's just it.
Yeah, I like to look at it as a muscle. If you use it, you can develop it and make it stronger. And if you don't choose to use it, it may be there, but it's not going to be as strong.
Exactly.
The more you use it, the better it gets.
Mhm. And you see, your wife, she has a great gift, you know, and you have a gift, and your gift is going to grow, and her gift is going to grow even more, because you're into this every day. You're doing something. You know, you've seen things, you believe in things, you know, and once you've had that gift to see things, you know what, it just gets better from there. That's how I look at it, whether it's good or bad.
That's the good thing. She sees it, I dream it.
Right.
You hear and converse
I
with that
hear.
and everything, too.
I hear, and I can hear without hearing, but I don't hear. I don't see. But I can hear without hearing, and I can feel, definitely. But I definitely can hear without, I can answer without, I'm horrible at EVP sessions because people yell at me all the time because I'll be sitting there and they'll ask questions and I'll give the answers. And I've got several evidence where I've got evidence from me saying an answer. I have one particular I can remember. We were up at a grill, and somebody asked a question, how many are with us in the room? And I said, there's 3 people. And then 2 seconds later, you can hear in the background, there are 3 of us. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to answer the question for you. I'm sorry, but that's the answer I heard.
That's awesome.
I don't really do it when I do it, but when I get the answer in my head, it's just there.
Right. That's a great gift, I'm telling you.
Sometimes it is. It's a curse at the same time. Scientifically, it stinks because when you sit there and start saying answers,
I want it to work.
Then it kind of makes people, you're kind of swaying people towards your answers, and I really need to keep it to myself. A lot of times I try to keep a notebook with me so I can write things down instead of saying them.
Right.
And it's like we had one where people were trying to figure out the age of somebody, and I got it down to with really short amount of distance between the point, but I had it labeled down to that they were 31 years, and it was their birthday, and to the point. I mean, right down to the point, and it was accurate. And but at the same token, I don't claim to be anything because I don't want to be. I don't want to be a medium. I don't want people coming to me. I don't want people.
If it happens, it happens.
If it happens, it happens, and I can't guarantee that it's going to happen. I can't say that you're going to walk into my house and I'm going to be able to tell you about whoever you want to hear about. Right. That's not the case. I don't have any choosing of who I'm going to hear or when I'm going to hear them or what's going to happen, what's not going to happen.
Right.
He just likes to deal with it more on a private level.
Exactly.
That's all right. Nothing wrong with that. You know, maybe you feel more comfortable dealing with it that way, which is cool because, you know, when it's time for you to say something, you're just going to say it anyway. So.
Well, that's been me my whole life. I'd never hide behind anything. If I think that somebody's pulling my leg, I will let them know. I've never had that problem. But it's just a matter of, it's not necessarily that, I just don't want people seeking, I don't like people trying to seek advice for what you definitely, I mean, there's certain things that, one, you should interfere with. And then there's the other side of, if somebody try to tell you, I mean, how many people come to you and try to say, hey, can you tell me what's going to happen? You don't know what's going to happen.
Yes, I get that all the time. I get that all the time.
The future is such an explainable thing is that there's so many choices between.
I'm a medium, not a fortune teller.
Exactly.
Well, you see,
don't know.
that's what I tell them. I say, because people ask me, do you read cards? Now I know that's some gifts for some people that have that, and it's real and true, but I'm not a carny. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit there and pretend that I'm reading your cards, because I'm not. If something is there behind you, I'm going to say, look, Ben, there's something standing behind you, and it's not nice. Get out of the way. Or something like that. But I cannot sit there and tell your future, like you said, and, it just doesn't work that way. And second of all, a lot of people charge money for this, and I think it's disgusting, because if you're given a gift, you're not supposed to use it unless you're in dire straits to collect money for that. And Mother Mary says you can.
Free will. That's it. If it doesn't come freely, one, I feel if you charge for it, then you have the chance of then you get forced into a position of making it up.
Right.
I hate to say it. I don't want to offend anybody on that, but
no, not at all.
If you put it out there so often and you're saying, oh, I'm going to definitely get something, and you're doing it, like you said, like a fortune teller all day long, that's what you do, you kind of get to the point where you're like, I got to make something up or this person's not going to buy this.
Exactly.
And
it's like you're sitting there like the Maharaja with a crystal ball, like something's really going to come through that ball. It's like, I don't think so. But, I mean, some of those people do have gifts like we do, but they just use them in a different way to scam on people. And then you have other mediums who do read cards professionally. They do charge, but they're very accurate. They're telling the truth. They're not making lies up. And because I've seen people and know people who read cards, and they're very gifted, but I guess that's their business of making money. I don't know. I don't make any money from what I do. Everything is out of my pocket. So,
I hear you.
I'm more appreciative of me being able to go to the store with my own money, and the documentary I'm doing, 30% of this is going to the church. It's not all going in my pocket. I'm donating 30% to the church for allowing me to be on their grounds. I'm here every single day, at least 8 hours a day at different times. So I try to document different things that happen at different times of the day, different times of the night, and different times of the wee hours of the morning. So, this way I have it documented, and I can show people, well, I was here at this time on Tuesday and then this time on Thursday, and this is what happened. So they understand, because a lot of people don't understand. They think it's supposed to happen every day, but it doesn't. I mean, there's times I come in here, I don't get anything, nobody wants to talk. I'm like, okay, guys, I'm sorry to bother you, I'm going to leave. And that's when they all start coming out, is when I'm leaving. And then they want me to talk and stay with them and hang out. So, I feel like I'm coming at a bad time for them. Because, you don't know what time they like to come out and hang out. It's all different times, so everybody's different.
Right.
But I love it. I have a lot of fun doing it, and each day is a surprise for me. You never know what's going to happen. And, it's like it's a surprise. And, I could come home tonight, and have 40 apparitions in a photo, and then tomorrow, nothing. So I'm very grateful. I wouldn't care if I had one orb the whole night. I'm just grateful that one spirit was out to see what I was doing.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's kind of why we're into it. I mean, it's a science. It's not. It's not science fiction. It's science, and
exactly
approaching it that way, plus having the abilities and acknowledging that they exist, which a lot of people don't.
Right.
Which is why we have all the tools to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just such an amazing thing to be able to get into, and the fact that you have that. It's a drive. I mean, it's not always a rewarding drive, but yet it's a drive. And sooner or later, I think things are going to come out. Whatever way they come out, I don't know which way.
Exactly.
But, I mean, it's like anything else. It's a science. And
I never get discouraged.
Exactly. And things are getting a lot more openly.
Get discouraged. Exactly. You know, sometimes a lot of people will go in, I know a lot of kids, like newbies that want to do this, and once in a while I'll bring them with me just to show them what I do and what to be careful for and what not to do, you know, so that they understand, because I don't want them to get hurt, because remember, we were all newbies at one time. You know, we all had to get our feet wet. Some of us were lucky enough to have people with us that helped. You know, each person you meet on that road going in this industry is a teacher. You understand? They're going to teach you and teach you and teach you, because everybody has witnessed and done different things that you might not have done. And that's how I look at it, as being taught. It's a teacher thing. You know, somebody's helping me, I'm helping you, and you know what? We'll have the test tomorrow and we'll both pass. So, you know, that's how I look at it. Everybody helps one another. And, you know, a lot of people don't like to do that because they think because they catch something, oh, this is mine, mine, mine. You know, it's like the little miser from Daffy Duck, you know. And it's not like that. You know, it's just like, hey, man, I got this out there. You guys want to check it out? Give me your opinion. Let me know what's going on. And I'll respect it. And
It's a hard thing because, I mean, everybody wants to be that one person that confirms it.
Right, but nobody will be, because it's not one person. You know, paranormal.
No, it isn't.
You know,
it's hard
because there's a million things going on, Ben. I mean, all over the world. You know, it's just not here in the U.S. I mean, you could go to other countries, and I'm sure you'll find stuff that will blow you away. You know, It's just the point of getting to those places because it's expensive.
Well, I mean, you look at it. I mean, we're discovering new things every day. I mean, we have pyramids in Egypt. We have pyramids in Russia. We have pyramids under the ocean that we're finding. And, you know,
and they just found in Pennsylvania. They found two pyramids in Pennsylvania.
Right. I forgot about that one. And then people sit there and, you know, it's like it's been there all this time, and all of a sudden we're finding it.
That's because
and
people never wanted to
one
believe.
Thing or another. The things that are coming up, I mean, this is a new age, and unfortunately people don't want to share. They want to be the one. But it's kind of contradicting on the ability to do things, because if everybody worked together, it would make it so much easier.
Exactly.
Instead of hiding back the little bits and pieces, all those pieces could fit together and make the puzzle quicker to solve.
People don't want to do that, because I've asked other paranormal investigators to work with me and do certain things, and, you know, they just didn't want to, because I guess they had their own things going on. But, you know, it's like, it's not about just me or just you. It's about the paranormal community. That's how I look at it. And to share this with others and to help people understand. And that's where I'm at with this whole thing with the paranormal. You know, I just love doing this. You know, I'll help anybody that needs help, you know, and I'm not looking for money for this. You understand? It's just, I just want to show the evidence to people and be happy with that.
Well, that's a good way to look at it. I wish more shared your view.
Well, you have to, because you know what?
We like working with other groups.
We constantly work with other groups. I prefer to, because, like you said, you learn new things. You learn new things from every single person you work with. And let's face it, if you go, I mean, you've been working in the church for so long now. Now you go to another environment, things have changed. What worked there is not necessarily going to work where you are now, where you go to from here.
Exactly. And that's what's scary sometimes, because
you adapt and come up with new versions of what you're going to do. Because let's face it, I mean, I might like hot rods, so that might be a good thing to come at me when I go. But I might not be so much into a lot of other things that you may try, and I could care less about certain things.
Exactly.
It kind of matters on who you're working with.
Right.
And you got to realize that's a person still, even though it's maybe not physical, but it's still there.
Right. No, I'm with you on that. I agree with you 100% on that. That's so true, and, you know, well said, because a lot of people, like I said, you know, they want to find this, they want to find that, but, you know, let's do it together. You know, my big thing in life is I was trying, like, to put something together where I get, like, 20 or 30 different people from teams, you know, just all get together and do one huge investigation in one place for more than one day, like a weekend. and just gather up everybody's evidence together and see what you have, you know what? You'll have a movie. You know what I mean? Because everybody will have something. And,
let me know. We're down for it.
Yeah, we'll definitely get together.
At that point, but that's okay.
Nah, we'll definitely hook up one time and do some investigating for sure. Even if I got to come down to you, I don't care. You know, I just want to get to work with people, you know, other people and try new things and just have fun in different locations. You know, everybody does the standard, Penhurst, the Shanley. You know, these are all, you know, places that people have gone a million times. You know, they'll find things, which is awesome, but, you know, it's time to venture and do different locations that they have not done before. Like myself, I have a friend who works in the White House. I've been begging him for the last 6 months to try to get me in there to do an investigation. You know,
good luck.
No, you think I'm kidding? No, you think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. And believe me, he's trying so hard because, you know, there's so many people that have witnessed things in this place. I mean, they've seen, you know, Lincoln's wife on Lincoln. They've seen, you know, Mrs. Roosevelt in the garden. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in that place, but to get in is the killer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I wish I could get in there.
I want to be in the tunnels underneath.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. What's on? Yeah, I would love to know what the Masons did over there.
What's in it?
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, but these are like dreams, you know, and if it ever happened and he said, yeah, you could bring like 10 people, you know what, I choose 10 people, let's go. You know, let's have a ball. I wouldn't hold it for myself. You know, I would share it with others. And that's what I try to do, is share everything with others.
Well, when you hit the White House, let me know. I already have a security background check. So I'm already in.
All right, you're in there like swimwear. You're good. I'm going to call you right away, trust me. But that'll be fun. But
he's already got very high-level security because of
my job career and everything.
Right.
When he used to do, if he has to do government contracts while he's on his ship, they have to be able to have that clearance.
Well, I used to work on kinds of ships. I worked through both Kuwait wars, and I was delivering equipment over there during both wars for the Gulf.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to have clearance. I was sitting there with
amazing.
Well, now it's not classified, but I mean it was then. And then I used 4 or 5 months at a time. Gone.
Wow.
Working on the merchant ships. But you know, it's another story. I could go on for hours about shipping, but I don't think viewers are really that interested. If they are, they'd be hitting me up on the bar talk chat room, but they're not, so I'm not going to continue with it. But it's an interesting life.
It is.
And it's probably to a lot of places. And I've had some privileges of being on some very important vessels through my years. And before I was even into paranormal, and too bad I wasn't, because some of the vessels I wish I was, because I would have collected it, because I knew things were going on, but I wasn't really aware of it going on, but I knew it was.
Right.
Well, like, I'll give you an example, was the Glomar Explorer. I don't know if you've ever heard of that boat. Have you heard of the boat?
No, I haven't.
The Glomar Explorer was a Howard Hughes boat. It was a undercover mining ship used to recover sunken Russian subs during the Cold War.
Wow.
And now it is a drill ship.
That's interesting.
And the pump room that I used to work in was where they actually used to stack the bodies.
Wow.
And yeah, that was a.
So you know there was a lot of stuff going on there.
Oh, it was interesting. That was a weird boat because you never felt like you were ever alone.
Right.
It's one of those boats. It's one of those areas. You know, just like a building. I mean, a boat. It's a boat. It's different. Well, it's not really all that different. It's a building, and you feel like you're not being left alone. It's the same thing as being in your room, not left alone. It's just a different medium, different space, but it's still the same feeling. Like you're always being watched. Like somebody's just kind of looking over your shoulder going, what are you doing?
Right.
I don't speak Russian, so I wouldn't be able to communicate with ever. That's why I always laugh, because you get people to go out and go to They'll go to Scotland or something and pull up. They'll pull up a ghost box session, and it'll be in English. I'm like, really?
Really?
You lucked out.
How about that? You went to some ancient part of the world and pulled up a ghost box session in English. That is awesome.
That is amazing. I got to tell you, to have that happen is like, wow.
Isn't it? I thought that was amazing, though. Last time I saw that on TV, I was like, wow. Where's the translator? Did they even have this language back at the point they were trying to call it?
Right.
So I laugh at things, and I mean, don't get me wrong. Granted, then again, people at that point in time were multilingual. We'll just assume so. And I don't mean to discredit anybody, because every little bit is a help. And maybe by chance the person that they talked to was bilingual to the point, or trilingual. I mean, you're talking about an area of the world where all worlds met at once.
Right,
I mean, it wasn't just French or Spanish, or I've heard the argument from more than one person. He's like, you have somebody from Dutch that go to some place in Ireland or anywhere, and they'll pull up something in English. Well, they were there, so it's not entirely impossible.
Right.
It just seems like sometimes you would think you'd hear something in another language, and you don't.
No, that's the way it sounds sometimes, and then, when you hear it in English, it's like, oh, wow, what did I just hear? But there are a lot of boats, like even in New Jersey, that's not too far from me, that are docked over there, big ships, from the wars. And I've had friends do investigations on certain ships. I don't remember the names, I'm sorry, but they had gotten some really good EVPs and videos in them. And, you got to understand, it's like if you and I, went to Pearl Harbor to do an investigation on one of the, ships, I can guarantee you we're coming out of there with something. That's for sure.
Right.
Because, the way they died and, everything happened, and you got to realize there was men stuck under the boat that drowned, so their bodies are still lingering all over, and, you're definitely going to catch something there. So, all that history, with the ships, you're always going to have it. And it's always been like that, because they even say they find ghost ships sometimes, which I would love to see. But, people have witnessed real ghost ships while they were at sea. So who knows what's going on out there. I mean, I don't know how true that is as far as ghost ships, but, people say they have seen them. And there's a lot of, boaters out there, whether they're foreign or not, who've been on, like, huh?
Have I ever seen a ghost ship?
I'm asking Ben if he's ever seen a ghost ship.
No.
And he's been around the world a couple times.
I've seen some very interesting things happen. I've never seen a ghost ship. I've seen things that you can explain and can't explain. I've had experiences where things don't make sense. We call them gremlins.
Oh, okay.
Most engineers don't call them ghosts. They're gremlins.
Gremlins. Okay.
Well, the gremlins. They're something that
yeah, I've read about that. Yeah, they're pretty interesting.
It's different. It's
right.
I call it. I have a gremlin on my boat, and I hope nobody's listening on my boat, because
they'll be scared.
I'll be scared. I'll hear all the reasons.
No, you don't understand. When we came back from Parahistory Con, they made tiny little paper ghosts and hung them all over.
Oh yeah, I had about 20 ghosts in my engine room, and then they were little paper towel ghosts, and they hung them everywhere. It was awesome, but it was fun.
That's
I had
interesting.
Different types of investigations, like, oh my goodness, another one, and they were cute. I posted pictures of them. But, no, I always call what I have is a gremlin. It's like I have, like...
Someone who tells you.
I have, like, an ability to know when something's about to go really badly wrong.
Right.
But I always call it a gremlin. Not necessarily meaning that it's a bad thing, but it's like you know that something's about to go wrong, and I'll get awakened in the middle of the night and like, all right, you got to go look at the engine room because it's about to hit the fan. And so you'll go out there, and something will be going really bad, and you're like, wow, I just caught that in time.
Right. That's wild. Thank God you have that gift, though.
Yeah, you call it a gremlin, but it's really a gift because, as the same token, if you'd waited that few minutes longer, it would have been catastrophe. Right. But it's still a gremlin. I always call it a gremlin because it wakes me up when anything goes wrong. So it's still a gremlin. I don't care who it is. It's just sailor superstition.
Hey, if it happens,
maybe it's just luck that I wake up, but it's sometimes I wonder. It's like you get that little notion. It's just, why did I all of a sudden wake up at this hour and decide that I need to walk out into the engine room to see what's going wrong?
There's a reason for that. Somebody wanted you to wake up just before something happened. So, they're touching you and telling you.
That it hasn't gotten to the point of, oh, my goodness, what are we going to do now?
Right.
It's like, it's confusing. And, I mean, right now, I used to work ships, big tankers, all kinds of things, you name it. Now I'm working on tugboats, so I'm the only person there as far as the engine room. So when I go to bed, I'm going to bed, whether or not the engine room's, I go to bed in the engine room I'm hoping is in the best working order possible before I go to sleep. And, of course, if it doesn't go right, then I'm up. That's period. That's just the way it works. So it's a blessing and a curse all in one, because sometimes you get great nights of sleep and sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night and a pump let go and you have to be the one to fix it.
Wow.
It's weird. But like I said, I have my gremlin on my boat. That's what I call it. And I will always call it a gremlin. I don't know if it likes being called a gremlin, but I always wake up and I said, oh, the gremlins are out. I got to go out and look at the engine.
Kind of like the Twilight Zone when he was sitting on the edge of the plane, huh?
That's right. That's exactly it. It's like,
and that was destructive too. Thank God you catch it before it gets destructive.
Well, I don't know if it's destructive or a warning. I don't know if it's something that causes mischief. It's like, oh, what happened to turn this valve? Or if it's, hey, this is really going bad. You need to wake up. So I like I either call it my gremlin or my night watchman.
The night watchman. That's cool. It's what, I'm sure it is like the night watchman for you, because you've definitely got that gift where which is awesome, because it's like an alarm system. And that's how you have to look at it. So when you feel it, you're going to say it and do what you have to do.
That's exactly it. I think
that's
a lot
great
comes
gift.
down to you got to listen. If you don't hear it, you can't do anything about it. And let's face it. If I was talking to you, or let's just say you were talking to me, we'll just turn the side on this one a little bit. And to give people an idea of what it's like, let's just say you're talking to me, even on the radio, just sitting there talking to me, and you're talking to me and talking to me and talking to me, and I keep talking about something else or going around you, not really listening to you, not hearing what you're saying, you get aggravated.
Right.
And by getting aggravated, you act out. Like, hello? What's going on? Why aren't you listening to me? And you might knock things over or whatever, throw some things because you're getting ticked off because I'm not listening to what you're saying.
Right.
Oh, my God, you're a demon. No, I'm not. I'm just mad because you're not listening to me. and I think that's where the thing is, because I hate the term demon, because I've worked a lot of cases. Some were really bad, but you know what? I've never can say that I've encountered a demon.
Right.
I can say I've encountered some very, what's the word I want to use? Spunky spirits.
Okay, that's a good word for it.
But I've never encountered
heard that
a demon.
one
And
before.
usually once you learn to talk with them and address the fact that, yes, I can understand you, then usually you can start silencing most of what you have going on. You can start you can start calming down the situation by just acknowledging the fact that they're there.
Right.
That you're trying to listen. even if you're having difficulty listening, just by telling them that, hey, I'm trying to understand what you're saying, I'm just not getting it. It makes a whole world of difference calming down. In fact, we got off a case that was really good about calming down a spirit with that. It's just the fact of, I don't understand the way you're coming about it. I need you to explain it to me differently. I can't understand you. And the whole case calmed down, and which was great. And people don't understand that. It's just like you. If you're talking in a room and nobody can hear you, you're going to get angry. It's human nature, which also brings back touch. Bring it back a point. It's human nature. What we're dealing with is human in nature. Whether or not it takes a human form, it's human nature. It's your own, same way you think, is the way they think.
Yeah, but there are entities out there that are not inhuman.
Well, that's a different story. And like I said, I'm happy that I have not yet encountered, and I hope I never do.
Well, unfortunately,
I will,
have.
You know, I'm not going to run away, but at the same token, I'm hoping that I never run into, because well, personally, I just don't want to run into that. I mean, that's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, it's not a nice feeling. Let me tell you. I like I said, in that case that I was working on with my friends, you know, I did see what I seen in that mirror. But to tell you the honest truth, last 2 weeks ago, I had dinner with Lorraine Warren, and I was sitting down with Lorraine, and I was talking to her about the case, and I showed her the photos, and Lorraine was like, you know, get ready because you're going to go on a roller coaster. And she said, please don't go in there and try to, like, do an exorcism. She goes, have the proper people with you before you do anything. So you know what? I trust her word. I'm going to listen to what she has to say. But I did encounter that one thing at that, you know, old funeral home, and I haven't been back in that house since. You know, I'm probably prolonging it in the back of my head because I don't want to deal with anything demonic. And I don't like to say demonic because, you know, it does come out, every so often. It's not like an everyday thing. But you do have people that go through that stress every day of being possessed or being toyed with. So,
See,
it does happen.
See, I don't like using, I don't know if it sounds worse or bad, but I like the word poltergeist.
Yeah, poltergeist, but you see, the reason I can't say that is because it's two different things.
A noisy ghost.
Right.
So,
yes, and very noisy.
And that's the way I look at it. It's the same idea. It's a temper. I need to get your attention, and you're not listening.
Right.
I mean, maybe they don't agree with, hey, I painted my door red. I don't like that. And I'm just trying to let you know I'm here, and I hate red doors. So it might be something so simple that people don't realize it. I mean, that's just an example from my life. We have a door that we're not allowed to paint.
Oh, they won't let you paint it?
No. It's a stenciled door, and if we paint it, if we talk about painting it, we get hell raising.
Do you really?
His wife painted that door, and that's the way that door is going to be.
Wow. That's
and
intense.
I have EVPs to back it up. So we don't paint that door.
I believe you, but
not
like
only did
Cheryl
I get my
said,
wife,
that's crazy.
I got mother-in-law.
Yep, my mother got yelled at for it, and so did my wife
really?
for wanting to paint the door. So we don't paint the door.
You know what? Sometimes they're, like she said, very adamant. They just like it the way it is, and you can't touch it.
Yep. Well, when we moved in, our front door was in dire need of getting repainting, and so we just to paint the front door red.
Which they didn't like.
They didn't like.
I don't like red. I got a whole bunch of EVPs. I don't like red. I don't like red.
Someone kept yelling at my mother-in-law, Sharon, stop painting. Sharon, stop painting. And she's like, were you guys yelling at me? And we're like,
God.
no. And she's like, oh, well, I didn't care anyways. I still painted the door red.
Oh, God. So the ghosts were yelling at her while she was painting the door. That's hysterical.
Yep. Yeah, we have a very interesting house. Well, we never painted the door, which is an interior door. It's all stenciled, and his wife painted that door, and he refuses to have it painted. That's the one thing he insists on, and we left it. So we have one door that's stenciled. Interestingly, I mean, it was a restaurant. It's tasteful in a way, but in a 70s kind of way, but whatever.
Right.
And so we left it, and we still have it. We never painted it. We kept talking about it, but never did it. And
don't do it. Just leave it as it is.
Yep. Well, we come to an understanding. As long as
part of the history of the building.
It's the history of the building, and I look at it from this point. As long as it doesn't interfere with me, my children, and my family, and it's okay.
Yeah, the main thing is the children, because that's most important, because they're more susceptible to see everything and hear everything before we do.
Oh, and we've had plenty of it. We have to go in there and.
Do your kids ever hear anything or see anything in the house?
Well, my daughter keeps the TV on at room so she doesn't have to listen to the talking, which we have to go in occasionally and talk to the people and say, my kids have to be asleep by 9 o'clock. You have an entire house. You haven't been to the property yet, but, I mean, I have an entire side of the house. I said, if you need a raised ruckus, go over on that side. This side of the house needs to be quiet.
Our house is like a giant L because it used to be a restaurant on one side and a house on the other. Right. And now it's just a house, but like the other side, it has the bar and the great room and everything still. And, we kind of give free reign over there, but we've set rules in the house. The first year
was
hell.
Oh, I said heck. I didn't swear.
It wasn't really a swear.
It's halfway a swear.
Okay. My son used to get
the
children here used to talk to him so much and play with his toys at night and try to pull him out of bed to play with them that he's like, I'm not going in there anymore because kids won't leave me alone. They will not stop. I'm not going in there. I refuse to go in there. And it took him a good year.
No, we had major activity
of
here.
Setting rules, boundaries, and then actually coercing my son to actually go back in there. That was the hardest problem, was trying to get him to go back in there.
I hate to say it, but unfortunately, we had so much major activity here before we were investigators.
Yeah.
Right.
Wish we had cameras and everything back then.
Well, that's what really got us involved, because there was so much going on.
I mean,
that we
had
needed help.
We had the full-blown thing. We had doors opening, closing, slamming, shutting, cabinets opening, TVs turning on, electronics screwing up, all kinds of stuff going on here.
Flying across the house.
And
you could hear
then we became investigators.
An old lady should walk across.
Now it all goes
the
silent.
house. You'd hear someone coughing, like this
I
horrible,
don't want to think about that. That was horrible.
I mean, we were getting.
Wow.
And.
But, I mean, after we got all the equipment?
I had someone lift my hair straight off my head and twirl it in his hands.
Really? That's interesting.
But after we got all the equipment, they hide.
They run and hide, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Anybody who's haunted, get equipment. They will disappear.
And that's
buy a whole bunch of
equipment
and they're gone. That's amazing.
You've seen the whole show before you were investigators. Now they won't come out to do a performance, right? It's amazing.
It's funny. It's like I've literally heard somebody getting thrown down my steps.
Wow.
And ever since I had all this recording equipment and everything like that, ain't a peep on this side of the house.
Well, that's what started us pushing everybody out into the other side of the house.
Well,
look, if you're going to raise hell, go over to do the restaurant. You're not allowed in the house. If you were meant to be here, or if you're one of our family members, then if you belong here, that's fine. But there's going to be ground rules. Anybody else, if you came because the old bar was over there, or because you have an attachment to the restaurant, or because you're passing through and this is a comfortable place, stay the hell over there, because if you come in here, then, we're going to start whipping out sage and throwing holy water at you, and you're probably not going to like it.
Like it, exactly. It's funny because people come home with me sometimes from the church, and how I know they're there is sometimes, how you smell that old man smell, it'd be in my basement. Yeah, I'd smell it. I'm like, all right, Pop, what are you doing? You got to leave. See, I'm very comical with the spirits and the ghosts. You know, I talk to them as if I would talk to you or anybody else, joking around with them, and I call them names and we laugh. You know, that's how I am with them. It's like I'm talking with somebody, like my best friend. I'm just breaking his horns. You know what? I'm going to break their horns. You know, and they get a kick out of that because one night I heard one of the spirits laugh in my EVP. And I was like, oh, I'm glad you like it. I thought I was, going to get in trouble for doing something like that, but they enjoy it. I enjoy it. And it makes my night go by quicker.
You might have enjoyed out there.
Yeah, I tell you, it's amazing.
I haven't been out there in
a couple weeks.
3 months. 3 weeks? 7 weeks?
Yeah. Ben works out of Newark, New Jersey, so he's right over near you. And
oh, God, you got to let me know when you're here. I'll come over and visit you.
Yeah, but he's been out of work since the beginning of July because he tore his knee. He's going in for surgery on the 4th.
Oh, jeez.
So
he'll be all right.
Oh, good.
We'll heal that. I'll send him healing. Don't worry about it. I'll send you plenty of healing. But, yeah, when you're over there, you let me know for sure, Ben, and I'll come over and meet you, man, for sure. We'll go out for lunch, and if you're here for a couple of days, I'll bring you over to the church, and we'll do a quick investigation.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I'd love to bring you here so you could see exactly what I'm talking about, and I'll introduce you to some of the ghosts here, good friends of mine. They really are because, they talk to me like I'm talking with you sometimes. It's like I'm having a full conversation with one, and it's like, wow. And then they leave and,
That's what I try to do is to have an actual conversation because you have to realize it's not a thing. It's not.
I know, it's a person.
An inanimate object. And if you're trying to converse with it, you need to converse with it in an intellectual way because if you don't, then it's kind of insulting.
Sometimes the standard here.
Do you really want me to come at you with the stupid standard questions? If I came up here this is free reign on the radio when we're doing this. You don't know where it's going to go. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't write a script up.
Right.
But, a lot of the stuff is scripted to the point where, how are you? What's your name? How old are you? What is? And it's like, really?
Over and over. Things that were so stupid.
Yeah, if somebody came at you that 50 times a day, it would be like, it's just the same idea as calling up as a telemarketer's calling you up for this or trying to call something up or calling for your phone service or my Alexa and enter your information 15 times. To have somebody call you up and then finally get through to a representative to say, okay, can you give me your credit card number again? Seriously, I've entered it 7 times just to get to this point to talk to the person. Don't you have it written down once since then? It's like
I hear you.
It's like treat them as if don't treat them as if they're intelligent. Treat them as they are intelligent. It's not an if.
Well, that's funny you said that.
If they're communicating with you, they're already intelligent.
Exactly.
Therefore,
and that's funny you said that. Ben, because a couple of weeks ago I was doing an investigation and I was getting a little annoyed because they were doing stupid things through the ghost box. And I said, well, listen, if anybody's here that wants to have an intelligent conversation, step up. And this one guy says, I do, and clear as day you hear it on EVP. I do. So I'm like, all right, tell me what you got to say. We'll talk about it. But, it's just comical to me sometimes the way they answer you because it's like your best friend is sitting next to you for a second, and you can joke with them. I'm Italian, you understand? I grew up in Queens. And, anybody who knows Queens, Ozone Park area, as I was a kid, we're all mobsters back in those days, so everything was like, hey, forget about it. Do this, do that. So, that's the era I grew up in, and I knew a lot of those guys, when I was a kid. I used to see them walking around the neighborhood all the time, but that was their thing, but that's the lingo that we learned as kids growing up in the neighborhood. So we were always funny kids and always having fun. So that personality never left me. That's the best part of me is my personality because I'm just funny. I like to have fun, and I enjoy talking to people, so it's great.
I know, and we haven't even talked about half of the things that we were talking about at Parahistory Con.
I know.
You know, we got into so many conspiracy theories and our thoughts on different
On UFOs?
things.
Yeah.
Yes.
UFOs. Oh.
Yes.
See,
And actually, you know what?
That's really huge for me, and I know we only have a few minutes
Me too.
left, so we definitely have to have
We'll definitely talk about that some other time, but I have photos to show you. They actually just had a sighting in Pennsylvania last night of a UFO.
Really?
Oh, really? I haven't been on Facebook much today.
But,
well,
I didn't do it from Facebook.
With,
I was driving through Pennsylvania, and somebody had told us. And I was like, really? I said, oh, man, I just missed it because you know what? Driving through, you know, we had to pull over a few times because we were very tired from driving and having that whole 11 days of, you know, running around and investigating and Disney and this, that, and this. So, you know, we were really exhausted. But the fun part about it was when he said, oh, man, we seen a UFO, man, I was cursing under my breath left and right. I said, man, I should have been here for that. You know, because that's
come on.
I love UFOs. I love UFOs.
I've seen a couple UFOs, but never at an instance where I had a camera. I mean, it's always the times when you don't have your camera in hand that something happens.
Right. Well, I'll send you some photos of the UFO I caught up in Connecticut. I'm very good friends with Whitley Schreiber. You know who that is? He's the guy who wrote the book The Communion. You ever see the movie The Communion with Christopher Walken, where the guy has been abducted since he's a little kid? He's got famous books out, The Communion, The Grays. And, you know, he took me out to his house in Connecticut many, many years ago. And he goes, Dave, I'm going to show you something. He goes, wait 5 minutes and then point your camera up, which I did. Tell you, this thing was probably the size of Giant Stadium, and it was like in a pyramid shape. When I show you the photos, you're going to be like, oh, my God. I sent those photos to NASA and never got them back. Thank God I kept the negatives.
Right.
You know, every person I sent it to never got it back until I sent it to MUFON. When I sent it to MUFON, they opened up a case for me. They got the photos, and it's all documented. So, you know, they got it. I'm happy because I know the government is, you know, full of it, you know, and they hide a lot of things from everybody. But you know what? Let's get it out there in the world. All the other countries are releasing paperwork on them. Hey,
I don't think it's going to be much longer where everything is going to come to the table. And
I understand it to a point, though, with hiding things because, let's face it, humanity as it is, we're panicky.
Right.
You know,
we've seen too many movies.
It's you got to kind of ease it into it because it is a panic-stricken. I mean, it's natural. You're just afraid of the new,
But you know the funny thing, Close Encounters of the Third Kind is probably your most closest to the truth of movies, because that did take place at some time where we did exchange.
I like the History Channel's version of what the heck is it called?
I actually worked with them for 2 years doing sound for the Ancient Alien crew. I worked with Giorgio.
Ancient Alien.
I worked with Eric Van Daniken. I worked with Giorgio and all of them, and David Childless. And let me tell you something, those guys are amazing people.
Yeah.
Even though
I
their
love
theories,
that whole series. I've watched it multiple
amazing.
times. And it's just something that you have to grasp and look onto, and then you go back and do the research and then come back to it, and you're like, wow.
I think a lot of that after our house is just like this big energy ball, like things are drawn to it. So it's like we moved into it, you know, I started seeing UFOs and then became addicted to watching Ancient Aliens. And I know, I'm one of those people that will look it up on YouTube and watch every video possible and say, yep, no, that's fake. Nope, that one might be real.
Yep.
But that one looks, it might be a government plane.
Right. Have you ever been out to Area 51
I just was recalling at Paracon we were talking about having
a UFO show. We were talking about having a debate. I will have a debate with anybody about it. I have no problem with that because I've seen them.
We were talking with Vinny, and we were going to have Vinny on at the same time.
Oh, Vinny Boombats. I like Vinny. That's my boy, Vin. He's a great guy, Vinny.
That's
I love him.
I just was recalling that from talking. I'm like, I remember this now. We were sitting outside at ParaHistoryCon, drinking
and we were
a soda.
talking about it.
We were drinking a soda.
No, you had coffee. A dirty brown.
Oh, it's coffee. Okay, well, coffee's still okay. we were having a coffee and we were discussing that we were going to have you and Vinny on at the same time.
Well, you know what? You got to get me and Vinny on the show next time you do something on UFOs. We'll have a blast talking about it. Trust me.
We're going to be seeing Vinny tomorrow, actually.
Oh, you're going to
over
Lizzie?
at his shop, and then we're heading down to Fall River for.
You're going to do Lizzie Borden tomorrow with Mark?
We're going to Lizzie Borden.
Yeah, I love Mark and Lauren. They are so awesome. You know, they really are. They're like very good friends of mine. I love them to death. You know, and Vinny, I mean, I've met so many beautiful people in this industry, like Joe Chin, Christine, his sister Flip, his brother Wellington, you know, Ken DaCosta, all these guys. I mean, they're just marvelous people, you know, and Chris DeCias, you know, just, you know, JJ. It's just amazing all the people you meet through the years of doing this and staying friends, you know, and that's the most important part to me. I don't give a shit. Excuse me, I don't know if I could say that, but I don't care about that stuff. It's just knowing that these people are friends.
Censored. You can say whatever you want.
Okay, great. Well, you know what? They're the most awesome fucking people I've ever met in my whole life. I mean, you know, you just can't have friends like that. They're just wonderful, down-to-earth people, and you know what? They'll be friends for life with me, and you guys as well, you know, since we met. And, you know, we're going to stay friends and we're going to do things together. We'll all catch up at some point and do some serious investigating for sure.
That would be great.
That's what I really would like. I mean,
awesome meeting you in person. I mean, I talked to you a couple times beforehand, but to meet you in person was always, it's just, you can't replace it.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. I mean, dude, we had a lot of fun. You know, we laughed. You know, and that's what it's all about. You go to these places and, you know, here I am talking with all the guys, the ghost detectives, love them all, great guys. Here, you know, sign my card. I'm signing the car inside the hearse. You know, these guys are the hearse detectives. These guys are the best. Flip and all of them, they're great people. Anthony, you know, Mike, Spooky, awesome people, I'm telling you.
I don't know what happened. I got stuck with all the girls at the table. I remember right.
It's so funny. I stuck Ben in a booth, and I said, I'll be right back. And next thing I know, everybody's wives and girlfriends are sitting with him at the table, and I'm at the bar, and he's ended up buying drinks for everybody's wives. So I think everybody likes him now. His tab was a little bit higher.
Whatever.
Exactly, and you know, and I have a lot of
every
thanks to
ghost
John.
adventurer, there is a beautiful wife, and if she's not already an adventurer, she'll be shortly.
Right. You know, and John Tobin, I love John Tobin and Chip Rechenthal. You know, I went to his Christmas party and had such a blast and met so many beautiful people there. You know, that's what you look for. When you work hard, you play a little bit afterwards, and you meet all these beautiful people, and you know they're real. You know, they're not phonies. They're real people down to earth doing what we all like to do, you know, paranormal, you know, and it's great. You know, I can't ask for anything more than what I have so far. It's just been a great journey so far, and with all the people I've met down the road. Love them all. Great people.
Definitely, and I can't wait to see a whole bunch of them tomorrow when we get there. It's going to be like a little reunion.
Tell everybody I said hi. I wish I could have made it. I can't. I just got back, and I have a show to do tomorrow night. I have a UFO show that I do I do twice in the month. So tomorrow night I have that. Yeah, it's only a Staten Island thing, but I'd be more than happy to send you a disc, you know, mail you a disc so you could watch the show. Or just go on my Facebook page, because I usually post them up on Facebook or YouTube. So, you know, but we'll definitely talk for sure.
Yeah, we're going to get cut off. So thank you so much, Dave, for coming on with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you again
guys.
soon.
I appreciate it. All right, Cheryl, Ben, love you guys. Thanks so much, and have a great time at Lizzie's, okay?
All right, have a good one.
All right. You too, man. Be safe. Okay, take care. Bye.
Time and catch up with you down there at the church.
You let me know, man. You call me. You have my number. You're here. You call me. We'll go out and we'll do some things.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like a good time.
Can't wait.
You to dinner when I go.
All right, honey. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care, sweetie. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening to Beyond Paranormal. Peace out.